we kind of had this concept working with our brother Tank to kind of gravitate other artists.
We definitely pushed each other. You have so many talented people. There's a sharpening that happens when skilled people come together.
There's a lot of pressure placed on leadership to develop volunteers in church. Because like, are we supposed to be developing disciples or developing like media people and singers? What's up, family?
What's good?
My name is Jerm.
And I'm Joey.
And we welcome you to another episode of Deeper Water. It's starting to get mystical, like mystical church.
Mystical is crazy.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know, the name of Jesus.
Shots.
That ain't no shot. That ain't Will. That ain't no shot. The name of Jesus is the... All right. I hear the sound of a... All right, I'm sorry.
Mystical is crazy.
I'm sorry. That's a little mystical. We want to be oceany, not mystical.
Out of your belly, shall flow rivers of living water, if you believe.
Let's talk. You know, we were just talking about gospel versus CCM,
Yep.
And it brings up this concept because, you know, there's the argument of this group that we call Maverick City Music.
Yes.
One of, honestly, my favorite groups.
Absolutely, same here.
Established something called a collective, where they gather artists and kind of put them together and develop this group that wasn't a group. Like it was like a bunch of lead singers coming together. Also the Detroit Collective, which is pretty dope. I kind of like a lot of Detroit Collective songs. Like I'm with them. And it makes me think of Unison Music Group.
Yes.
Which a lot of people don't understand this. It don't matter, but Unison was like publicly a thing before everything else was. But we ain't had a following. So a lot of people don't understand what is Unison, what is Kingdom Movement, what is Diamond, what is Yana, what is all this stuff like that's like combined and apart. Like, and I want to tell you, everybody, just so you know, we is Kingdom Movement. Kingdom Movement is the Walker brothers. It's Jeremy and Joseph.
That's right.
Jerm and Joey. Joey and Jerm. When me and my brother step on stage together, you get the KM brand. But some years ago, we kind of had this concept working with our brother Tank to kind of gravitate other artists.
Yeah.
And this is kind of before the Maverick City era.
Right.
So thinking about like, we were doing our own thing and it was semi-successful, but we believed that there was so much talent that if we gravitated, or I shouldn't say gravitated, if we grouped these artists who were doing amazing things on their own but weren't getting the same visibility that they should be getting, if we grouped them together, we would be able to do something greater. Right.
I think that there's a way that we push each other, not saying that that's always the purpose of a worship collective, as far as artistically, but that is at least a byproduct. You know, I can speak for Unison. We definitely pushed each other. You have so many talented people, so many gifted people, gifted worshipers who are coming together.
Who is Unison? Anyway, go ahead.
I'm gonna let you answer that question for the people. But we pushed each other, and there's a sharpening that happens when skillful people can come together and we can make music, use our craft, figure out what works, what doesn't work. You feel the pressure when you with somebody who can say, "Oh no, that was wrong," or "That was, or that was real good," and they know what they're talking about.
And that's why even in, you know, there's a beauty in collectives, because like a lot of times we don't necessarily get to experience that pressure in our music ministries in church.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people think like, oh, y'all just want to get all the good singers together and do this, that, and the third. No, I want to get all the power in the room.
The pressure is necessary.
Yeah, and a lot of times the church members just don't have the power. They don't have the power. They don't have the pressure. They don't have the giftings and the skill set. They're great people though. They're great people, and they're called to do something. It's just like when it comes to the skill-based things that require the anointing. That's why. If you were ever wondering why your music ministry like is talking in that direction, that's why that pressure is important, which like really honors the birth of something like Unison.
Yeah.
To get those people in the same, room. But when you gather so many people who are so gifted and honestly used to being able to have a certain freedom because they're artists, because they're worship leaders, it can create unhealthy/healthy tension that I think we should speak to, because it also can be created in your worship team in your ministry.
Yes.
Everybody wants to know how they can get a piece of the pie. When is it my chance to lead? I'm so sick of people wanting to lead. When is it my chance to lead? When can I throw in my song? Pastor, they not letting me do nothing. I feel like I'm called to music ministry, but y'all not letting me lead worship here. And I kind of want to speak to you because you've been doing this longer than me, just because you're a little older, you're an old man. But how do you feel like, how do we deal with the space that is crowded with giftings and talent, or the space that's crowded with desire and wannabe spirit? Like, how do you sift through that and create a cohesive unit?
I love that question. I think that we have to be able to create a culture and a system where people can be cultivated, with those who are willing and those who are yielded to God and to the leadership can be cultivated. And you have to be able to go where you're useful. Yeah. You have to be able to serve, even if you feel unseen, you serve with the gift that you have. I think about the story of Joseph. Joseph, with the coat of many colors. He was thrown into captivity, but he was gifted as a dream interpreter, and he had other administrative skills, and so he was put into position just by serving. And I think that gives us a lesson. We want everything to be so simple in our churches and in our music ministries, and sometimes it's not that, but we really got to hone in and focus and lean into wisdom in a different way and say, I may not be doing what I want to, but I can serve here. And if you serve faithfully, because the mission is so much bigger than us and what we want. If you serve faithfully, then that gives you room to allow that gift to blossom, to allow that gift to be used, and for you to be elevated.
So what's the space between I'm serving faithfully, I know I'm called to do more, but I'm serving faithfully where I'm at, and I'm serving faithfully, not getting the recognition I want, and I'm actually not called to this area? And this is why I ask, because I think a lot of times there's a lot of pressure placed on leadership to develop volunteers in church. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm not saying that that's problematic. But as a leader in ministry, you have a responsibility to develop the person who is just walked into the church, and then the person who says, I've been doing this for years.
Right.
So, and then how do you keep these people together? Because another thing we won't talk about in church is the fact that a professional eventually is going to run out of patience with the volunteer if the volunteer is not willing to run at a certain speed or move at a certain level. There has to be some type of coming together. We can't we can't move everything to the snail's pace of the volunteer
Right.
and lose the professional.
That's
and
right.
then we have a ministry full of people who don't know anything
Right.
because like develop them. And then I have a whole issue in itself with the whole development thing because like, are we supposed to be developing disciples or developing like media people and singers? Like, I think the media people and the singers should come equipped and then we develop them as disciples. I think we're putting too much emphasis on developing a skill. You need to like go to school and get education, or you need to study to show yourself approved. Like, but throwing that all on a leader to make sure somebody is skill developed, you have to show me, and I'm not saying it's not there. I'm saying somebody would have to point out to in the Bible where it tells me I'm supposed to develop their skill in the church.
Right.
Like, I wonder, like, is God mad at me if I don't do singing lessons? Because that's not what I like. You know what I'm saying? As a worship leader, I didn't come here to be the vocal teacher. I came here to be the worship leader.
Right.
Those are two separate roles. I don't even have to be saved to be a vocal teacher. But to be a worship leader, I would have to be a believer of Christ.
Right.
You can lead people into a worship experience and not even be a singer. So we're talking about two like far lines. And I'm sorry, I'm probably rambling at this point, but I'm like, the space between me teaching you how to sing and me teaching you how to lead the people in worship is actually kind of far.
Yeah, that's real. I believe that administration is so important. And here's why I say this. You know, I've mentioned 1 or 2 times how I appreciate your gift of administration, because knowing where to help people to go, knowing where to assign people is so key. And we get it. People want to do what they want to do sometimes. But having a good system and a good flow and knowing where to place people and how to fix problems is so important. And so to help those who are working at a professional level and those who are at a volunteer level who are not as skilled, but they just want to serve, or they're worshipers, and to make that work in one ministry, there has to be good administration. Now, that does not mean that everybody should be doing everything all the time. You know, eventually you need to grow. There has to be some growth. But good administration and good system help make that happen. Now, if you are watching this and you don't know where you shine, you don't know what your gift is, I want to encourage you, that's okay. This is going to sound super deep. I'm not trying to be deep. Seek God. Because the more you seek God, the more you fall in love with Jesus, He will, and the more you walk with Him, He'll show you where He wants you to serve. He'll literally give you guidance and direction, and it won't be chaotic, and you won't be left without anything. Now, some of us know, oh, this is where I'm skilled at. Some of us already know. We've had people tell us, or we just know ourselves. But if you don't know, seek God. And I like what you said before. I don't know if you said it or not, but somebody said it.
My God.
Serve where you can serve. Whatever you find your hands to do in the house of God. I knew you was going to take the credit. I
was going to take the credit for something I said, yes. I didn't know what you were going to say until you said it.
No, I remember this. But yeah, serve faithfully, and then eventually there should be growth. You should see growth in your skills. You should see growth in your ingenuity, your ability, and
I think that should be very clear, though. I don't think we're sitting here saying, if you don't want to do this thing for a living and you don't want to go to school for years, it disqualifies you to do this. I think heart posture can qualify you, but you also have to be willing to grow. And I think that's a big component. I'm glad you said that, because I think a lot of people are like, take me as I am, and I'm going to run at my pace. No, you signed up for this. You have to now run at a pace that's going to be a little bit faster probably than you want it to be.
It's going to be uncomfortable.
It's going to be uncomfortable, but we won't leave you unless you don't try, unless you don't put forth the effort. So I think the volunteerism and I hope that's a word. and the mixing with the professional, the worship collectives, everybody coming together. It, of course, can work to bring everybody together to make these amazing teams, but we have to know our place. We have to know where we stand, and we have to be able to work as one unit collectively.
That's good.